The experience I'm about to relate to you now is probably one of the most curious and interesting ones I've had in my entire life. And yes, it is an astral projection experience. It happened quite recently. And this is a time when I was getting rather frustrated because I hadn't had a clear-cut, full-blown astral projection for a long period of time. And I was trying to obsess about it rather a lot. I was spending a lot of time online, watching videos about astral projection, reading any blogs I could find on the subject, and just doing the whole visualization thing and training my mind, trying to get myself to do a full-blown astral projection all over again, just like I had done many years ago. One night came. This is after an extremely long period of regular insomnia. And so I was rather overtired, I was feeling rather stressed, and all of a sudden my body was about to give out. It was the small hours, but about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I finally crashed and went to bed. Before I put my head on the pillow, I told myself that this was one night when I was going to give it a go. I was going to let my body go into complete relaxation. I wasn't going to worry about the discomfort or anything which comes out of the spinning or floating sensations that one gets as one starts having an astral projection experience. And I was just going to go for it. I was going to try and make myself let go. Just let go of the physical and to try and stay awake, which was of course very difficult to do as I was incredibly sleepy at the time. So I tried to let myself go. I got into a nice comfortable position, sleeping on my right hand side, which is often better if you have to sleep on your side in bed. And I started to do the visualizations associated with rising and floating. I could feel a wave of relaxation coming over my body. There was the typical sensation of improvement of circulation that happens as the veins and arteries relax, and your body tries to get over the caffeine you've had during the day or whatever it is. Started feeling warmer. My breathing rhythm changed automatically to that of a deep sleeper. Very deep breathing, taking a lot of oxygen in. And I started to lose awareness of the sensation of the pressure of the bed against my body and of the bed sheets over my body as well. And yes, the floating sensation started, but I moved almost automatically into a dream world. And in this dream world, it was rather peculiar because it was like the grounds of a large stately home which had some kind of festival in it, and there was like hot dog stands, and there was tombolas and all kinds of fairground attractions all around me. It was quite lively and buzzy, but I could still feel that my body was horizontal. I was within the dream world. I was floating above the ground in a horizontal position. My body still in the the kind of like curled up position I was in bed, and just floating around in this world surrounded by action and people selling wares in stalls, and there was jugglers and fire breathers and all sorts. It was quite a weird environment because a lot of the astral projection dreams I've typically had have been quite peaceful, but this was full of action and liveliness. I tried to use my concentration to bring my body upright, which I successfully did, but I was still rather shaky on my feet, swaying left and right as if I was being hinged at my feet. So from an astral projection point of view, it would make sense that I was in the dream delusion world, but I was not far enough away from the physical body for me to be able to stand upright on my own 2 feet, so to speak. So I chose an area at the far end where the stately home itself was, assuming that that would be as far away from my physical body as I could get. And I started trying to move towards it, initially in a kind of like a floating way. But with the passage of time, I could feel my feet starting to touch the ground within the dream delusion world, and I could feel the grass between my bare toes as I walked slowly onwards to the stately home building with its napped flint exterior. And there was a large door, an oak door, studded with well-worn iron nails. And I went up to the door. But as I approached it, I heard a screaming noise, and I felt my spirit body, my body in the dream, being lifted up to about 6 feet above the dream delusion ground, and then being pulled forcibly back away from the door. And I could feel this feeling like the rushing of wind around myself, as I ended up floating to what I can only assume was to above my body. And then there was this crashing, falling dream sensation as I came to in the physical body with a start. It was weird. And then I felt like pretty much alive and awake and aware when my body was in the upright, when my spirit body was back in the physical body again, and I was sitting bolt upright in bed, panting almost with fear and exhaustion and exhilaration of the full experience. And it was peculiar, and I loved it. I loved it. I then tried to get myself back to sleep again, which was of course rather difficult as my mind and body was now felt quite awake. But I went back to the same position I was in when I tried to get off to sleep, and I did manage to get my body back to being relaxed. My breathing again returned to the breathing of a deep sleeper, and I again felt the floating sensation. But this time it felt like I was being gently shaken left and right, oscillating. Again, being pivoted around my feet for some reason, and then I was being moved in these sort of circular motions in the air, prior to eventually feeling that I was standing upright again. But this time I was on the driveway outside my house. It felt like the driveway outside my house. I could feel the loose stones on the tarmac under my feet, and everything was in a bluish yellow hue. And I suddenly felt properly awake, and I was outside, and of course, in this particular experience, totally naked. I had properly awoken in the dream body. But then I was aroused by the idea of, now what do I do? Now where do I go? Who do I go and see? Where should I go? And the anxiety of this, unfortunately, woke up my physical body. And so I again felt the rushing of wind past my spirit dream astral body as it came flying back through the wall with a sensation of like steam escaping from a mesh, and then slammed back into the physical body in bed. It was a most peculiar and active night.